Joining me right now is former OMB Director and Center for Renewing America President, Russ Vought. Russ, it's good to see you. Thanks very much for being here. What do you think the economic pain to come will look like?
Well, I think it's going to be continued, and I think the reality is that the Fed yesterday was setting the market, the public up for the fact that this is going to exist into next year, that inflation is not transitory. It's not going to just be able to come down naturally so that it meets in the middle with the rate hikes at the end of this year. And I think it's going to be something that there's going to be pain. And I think the message from yesterday is there is not a soft landing coming from, and I think we saw the markets react to that.
Yeah, I mean, the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget finds that Biden's student loan handout will cost $500 billion. That's more than double the amount saved over the next decade through the Inflation Reduction Act. He was, boasting about, oh, we're going to get the debt and the deficits down. And then he comes out with the $500 billion loan bailout. The same analysis found that Biden's administration has added nearly $5 trillion to the federal deficit over the next decade. That has to add into all of this, the economic pain.
It does, and Wharton says that the student loan cancellation is upwards of $1 trillion when you impact all of the behavioral changes that go into it. And that same committee that you just cited said that we're talking about 75 basis points alone to counteract that one decision. And so the Biden administration is loading all of the bad spending, economic policies, anti-growth, bad energy policies onto one side of the equation and saying, hey, it's the Fed's independent, and letting them do what is necessary. But unfortunately, it just makes it harder for them to get a handle of the problem that we're facing.
Hey, Russ, we've been talking about the IRS this morning. You're going to be filing a complaint with the IRS against Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we are filing today 2 complaints to the IRS to draw issues and complaints against 3 entities and to raise questions with the tax deduction that Mark Zuckerberg and Priscilla Chan took. And our main issue is this. They contributed to 501c3 organizations, which are nonpartisan, educational. They are not allowed to intervene in the election. They are not allowed to participate in the election. And yet those 2 individuals, very public, hired David Plouffe, who wrote the book on how to defeat Donald Trump, a partisan book, and then spent $400 million through these educational entities to be able to shape the election and give money to privatize the local election offices so that the same people that were running the election were the people that had an interest in Democrats winning. That's not allowed. If that is legal, nothing is illegal. And so what we're saying is, with the vast history of the IRS being weaponized against conservative groups, that was wrong, and this is wrong, and the IRS needs to take a look at it, and we want to put it on their radar. We are not of the belief that they are going to automatically pick this up, but we believe that there will be an administration in a few years that will have an opportunity to take a look at this and say that this tax-exempt status should go away for these these entities, and the deduction that Chan and Zuckerberg took should not be allowed.
Yeah, I mean, Molly Hemingway wrote a whole book on it. She's from the Federalist, on how big tech impacted the election. So you don't expect any real movement, though, until another administration is in place then?
Well, who knows what happens next year if there's a Republican Congress in place, putting pressure on the IRS. We're going to be very supportive of getting rid of that $80 billion in January to make sure that they don't have the kind of money to be able to have audits of small businesses across the country as far as the eye can see. We want them to be spending their time on this type of a complaint to be able to get to the bottom of what is going on and prove to the American people that they are not weaponized, because I believe that they are, and we want to make sure that we can win the debate heading into the next administration.
Yeah, that's great that you're doing this, Russ. Bob Nardelli, jump in.
Yeah. Hey, Russ, Chairman Powell talked about inflicting pain. One of the things that isn't talked about much is the 401k. And my understanding of that is if you take the market compression of about 15%, 8% inflation, the people that are living off this fixed income are down about 20%. So what's the answer for them, and what's being done to help those individuals?
nothing's being done to help these individuals. I mean, there are, anywhere you look, there's going to be economic pain from the stock market, from people who are taking a look at their savings accounts and realizing that it's depleting. And I think that's one of the reasons why people are getting back into the workforce and keeping those numbers higher than they ordinarily would be. I think the fact that we have social safety net hammocks that are no longer nets, they're hammocks, is one of the problems that we have faced throughout this pandemic. But there's going to be issues however people are trying to construct their economic life to be able to live and to have businesses and to support their communities. And the Biden administration is making it harder. And I think the Fed is trying to articulate, given the fact that they were so long to address this problem, they had lacked so much credibility on it. They still don't really articulate the fact that inflation is a result of monetary policy. So I think it causes them to have to double down in moments like this. Yesterday, the speech out west, to get the market to realize this is not going to be a ticker shock situation where we automatically walk away. They are trying to learn the message in the lessons from the 1970s to say this needs to be sustained, prolonged, so that we can beat it and get the economy growing again at a later point.
Russ, it's Dagan McDowell. Also a lesson from the 1920s where you have asset bubbles and speculation and gambling, and that actually also just the gambling element of it fuels inflation because people are busy betting on Bitcoin, and this is fading a bit, instead of doing something that is productive, that helps the supply side of the economy. That being said, we in the last 20 years have turned into bailout nation. If anything bad happens to anybody, Republicans and Democrats are at the ready to dive in and bail people out, whether it's the Federal Reserve, whether it's the actual politicians in Congress and in the White House. You saw it with you get mortgage reworks during the Obama administration. Oh, you overpaid for a house, you were speculating on a house. They had a couple of mortgage programs. I named just a few things, but it's going to take a lot to end this mentality.
Well, Dagan, I think a really important point you just made is that, you know, one of the reasons we have this situation with the market, where the market just believes, you know, everything that the most optimistic readings, inflation's transitory, the Fed won't continue this throughout the next year, is because they're used to these institutions bailing the market and individuals and certain businesses and sectors out of their bad decisions. And there has not been a recognition of the fundamentals that we all know because we read our economic books and we understand how this works. And as a result of that bailout nation that we've really seen since 2008, we are in the situation where we are in, where it takes a long time of sustained messaging and decision making to get the market to figure out where we are headed.
Well, layer onto that all the misinformation coming out of Biden's White House. Oh, the border is secure. A recession is not a recession. Okay. Russ, great to see you this morning. Thanks very much.